Hey, what's up filmmaker? Today we're talking about the two Catta Zoom lenses from DZO Film and if they are as good as they look like. So these are the Catta Zoom lenses from DZO Film, the 35 to 80mm t2.9 and the 70 to 135mm t.9. We will first start off with what you get in the box, and afterwards I'm going to show you some examples where I use the lenses, and then I'm going to show you a studio or office testing with the lights so you can see how smooth the bokeh is, and I'm also going to show you the focus breathing and the parfocal capability of these lenses. And at the end of the video I will share my own personal opinion about the lenses and also talk about who are these lenses for. I will create YouTube chapters down below so you can check out the topics which are interesting for you and jump around. So let's start with the physical aspects of these lenses. If you decide to purchase these two lenses in a bundle, you will get this very nice hard case. This hard case keeps the lenses safe and you have everything in there what you need for a video production. Because DZO lent me these lenses, I don't have all the accessories which usually come within the box. So first of all, of course, you have both lenses, and you also get these shims on the side here, which you need to exchange depending on the mount you have. If you decide to swap the mount of the lenses, and yes, you are able to easily swap between Sony E, Panasonic or Leica L, Canon RF, Fuji X, and Nikon Z mounts. This makes the lenses extremely versatile if you use different cameras for different scenarios, and you can easily swap them out on location. Then you get lens support brackets, screw, and also zoom sticks, which you can attach to the zoom ring, which makes it super easy to zoom very smoothly. So for example, you can do a very smooth dolly zoom, which makes it a lot easier using this little pin. On the lenses there are also focus, zoom and iris rings with gear pitches, so you can easily use them with focus motor systems if needed. Alright, so let's move over to the technical specs of these lenses. Both lenses weigh about 1532 grams, which is almost double the amount of my usual stills lens, which is actually not that heavy for the amount of glass you get. And here as a little comparison, this is my Sigma 24-70, which has almost the same focal length like this one, 35 to 80. So let's see and compare the sizes. I mean, the Sigma lens has a barrel which comes out like this, so if I put them together, it's not a huge difference as you can see, and the quality is just another dimension here on the DZO film lens. Also another thing I want to show you, usually you have these kind of lens caps here where you have to click and you have to struggle around sometimes to bring it on the lens. Sometimes it's not even fully on the lens and you don't even notice it, and then it can just fall off like that. And on the DZO film lens they really thought about the design here, because you can take it off like this and you can just put it on, and it's very tight, so it cannot fall off like that. Because this one fell off a couple times in my backpack, but this one, no chance. Inside the lens there's a 77mm filter thread, which allows you to screw on your regular filters. I, for example, have a step-up ring from 77mm to 82, because all the filters I use have a diameter of 82mm. And the outer diameter is 80mm, which is great for attaching matte boxes, for example. The focus rotation on these lenses are 270 degrees, the zoom rotation has 100 degrees, and the iris rotation has 75 degrees. The minimal focus distance is 0.74 meters, which is 2 feet and 5 inches. But I will show you an example of that later on. And you also have markings on these lenses in meters and feet on both sides. This can be very helpful if you use these lenses on a set with a crew, pulling off the distance with marks instead of just visually. And there's also a drop-in filter system. They have different drop-in filters available, as I saw online. For example, mist filters or blue streak filters, you name it. Alright, I will show you some real-life examples where I used the lenses outside, and man, the quality of these lenses are just insane. So let's start with the BMW M2 Shoot, which I did back in January, I think. And this was actually the first time I used the lenses, and I strapped it on a gimbal. And to be able to take these kind of rolling shots, I always take my gimbal underslang, because also for these shoots I use the trunk, don't tell anyone, okay? And I want to hold it very low to the ground, so it gives you the feeling that the car is moving even faster, because we didn't speed so much because of the safety on the roads, and the weather was just perfect, so you can see different scenarios in shadows and also in the sun. I used gimbals and also handheld movements. As you can see here, where he walked to the car, first I used the gimbal, but I didn't like the movement so much, so I tried to do it handheld, which was also no problem with these lenses because the focus ring is so smooth, not like on the stills lens I have, like on the Sigma. So focus goes here very smoothly. And also I don't have to worry about changing lenses. It was also extremely cold, so I was able to use one lens with so many different focal lengths, and I was able to change between focal lengths very easy with a twist of a hand. Here I tried to have a kind of run and gun situation where you're outside only with your camera and your lens and maybe your monitor as well. Because to keep focus, it's easier to have a big monitor, because on the little tiny screen on your camera it's pretty hard to maintain focus, especially if you go very low with the T-stop. And as you can see, you can also use these lenses as a run and gun scenario. Just go out and film something spontaneously and put it away into your backpack. And the last scenario before we jump into the studio office testing was in two different gyms. And as you might know, gyms usually have very bad lighting, and I just wanted to see how good these lenses are in such a scenario where you also kind of run and gun rigging there without any big lighting setups, or we didn't even use lighting setups here. I just brought my Zhiyun F100 with this little softbox which comes with the light itself, and even that was no problem to maintain focus, to change between lengths. I didn't have to think about getting back to my backpack, change lenses and run back. I was just able to run around, change focal length, interact more with the model so I can tell her what I want to see and what she has to perform to get the videos I or my client wanted to. And yeah, judge for yourself. The quality, in my opinion, is just amazing. It's just breathtaking, as you can see. I also sent over the footage, of course, after color grading to my clients, and they were super happy. They even told me, man, it looks like a movie. So that's very crazy. And also on production, if your clients see lenses like this big and also in white, I mean, you can also purchase them in black as well, but this is not a low-key lens, and the client will finally know what they're paying for. And if you show up with these lenses, you really look like you know what you're doing. And even if you're not, I think you should know what you're doing if you use lenses like this on set. Alright, so let's jump into the studio testing, or office testing actually, with artificial light. So I set my camera here in the office in front of my girlfriend here and have a key light on her right side, and in the background I had some, you know, these Pinterest fairy lights. So you can see how the bokeh looks like on these lenses. So in the first test you will see the par focus zoom, which means the focus remains the exact same while you're changing the focal length. And this is for both lenses. I mean, usually if you use a autofocus lens, you won't even notice that. Actually on zoom lenses, usually if you zoom in or zoom out, the focus will also shift a little bit. But on these lenses, the focus is just spot on the same spot. So you can easily do very smooth dolly zooms and maintain the focus on the subject. The second test is a little flare test. I know I forgot my torchlight. Yeah, I will show you some sun flares here as well from outside if you shoot against the sun. By the way, this is what I meant with focus rotation degrees. Here on the stills lens you can just turn around infinitely, and on cine lenses, usually, not only on these ones, you have these stops at the end, so you cannot just like overturn it. So this is a lot better like this. Also, the focus rings on the DZO film lenses are super smooth. First I thought this focus ring was smooth, but after using these lenses, it's just another word. So my personal opinion about these two lenses, you probably already heard it. I really like these lenses. The quality is just amazing. And if you didn't know this, cine lenses usually have their own characteristics, and I really like the image, how it comes out of these lenses. It's just differently than with the digital photo stills lens like this one. It's just not the same. And even if you don't have a crew like I did on these shoots, because it was very spontaneous, these lenses are a great fit for one-man bands because it's easy to handle. You don't have to swap around lenses. I mean, 35 to 80 is a very good range. So if you want to change to the other lens, you just have to do it like one time and not like change in between 4 or 5 lenses. But if you have a crew, it's even better because you can have someone who pull focus for you, and you have one less task to think about. So let's talk about the price of these lenses. At the time I record this video, the two lenses cost around $4,700 US. And if you want to get the lens separately, one lens costs about $2,400 US, which in my opinion is pretty cheap for such a good quality glass here. DZO Film did a really good job to manufacture budget-friendly cine lenses, which are extremely affordable. If you think about Sony lenses, for example, even the G Masters are almost more expensive than one of these lenses here. So I personally would totally recommend these lenses, and I will also use them more often than my usual lens here, which is the Sigma 24-70 in my arsenal, if I don't have to rely on autofocus. Because sometimes you want to have autofocus, for example, for these kind of YouTube talking videos. Even this one you could take on a manual lens, but if I move around like this, the autofocus is not gonna remain the same. Or if I do an interview with someone with 2 different cameras and I don't have control over the camera, I would definitely take an autofocus lens instead of a manual focus lens. But if you want to up your quality and produce eye-catching videos, I can totally recommend to pick them up. Alright, if you have any further questions, please let me know down in the comments. I hope this video was informative to you and inspired you or sparked your interest in cine lenses, especially the DZO film lenses. Make sure to check them out, and I will share a lot more footage along the way using these lenses. Unfortunately, I have to send them back in about 1 month, so hopefully I can get the heck out of it because it's raining all the time here and I'm just waiting for the sun to go out and shoot again. So yeah, thank you DZO for sending me out these lenses. It was such a blast to use them, and hopefully I get my hands on other DZO film lenses in the future. Alright guys, I will see you in the next video.